this should not be allowed to be played in World vs. World as a roamer. This build has crazy boon uptime in a World vs. World build on its own. It's crazy in terms of burst and sustain, it's just very fun to play, and what can I say, it's just a Chronomancer build. So if you're interested, be sure to watch the whole video to not miss out a thing. As always, special shout out to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch and Patreon that help me keep the lights on. And now, let's jump straight in. So let's start with the gear. For the gear, you want to go with full Commander's armor. So power, precision main stat, toughness and concentration secondary stat. You will see why we need the concentration in a bit. And we want to go for superior rune of leadership. It just gives us 25% of boon duration and we get a lot of oil stats, which is quite nice. You can also go for rune of fireworks, both work very well as well. Just take whatever you like. For infusion, I would go with power infusions. For your weapons, it's actually quite interesting because this build is actually, you can go for the weapon that you actually enjoy the most. I personally would really recommend to go with Spear if you have it. Spear is insane because you can generate 2 phantasms. You will see why this is so important. But the offhand, you can actually go for anything. You can go for greatsword, you can go for a sword, you can go for a dagger, whatever you like. It should be a power weapon though, but other than that, it's actually quite open. So I would go for sword shield just for the defense and the emob setup here. But we will get to the combos in a bit. For the sigils, I would go with Superior Sigil of Absorption and Superior Sigil of Generosity on your spear, because this is your aggressive weapon set, you want to really pressure the enemy here. And you also go for Commander's stats. For your second weapon set, whatever you take there, I would go for Energy and Cleansing, just as a defensive option here. For your trinkets, however, I would not go Commander, I would go Marauder. So I would go for full Marauder just to get some vitality here, same to get the precision and the power up, and some ferocity. Again, infusions would be power. For your relic, and that's the important part, I would always go with Relic of Nuris. Relic of Nuris is absolutely insane. It gives you crazy amounts of damage to healing conversion, it gives you damage increase, damage reduction, just really, really strong. And you get it passively whenever you remove a boon, or corrupt a boon, or whatever. Everything that actually interacts with a boon, so to say removes a boon, that counts as removing. And then you get a stack, and after 10 stacks you actually get those buffs. It's really easy to reset on this build, we will get to it in a second. This is really, really good. If you don't want to go for Nuris or don't have access to it, every damage relic would be fine. Fireworks, Thief, whatever you want is Garen, everything works here. You can also go for defensive relic like Rivers, whatever you like. But this is, in my opinion, by far the best choice because it gives you defense and offense. It's just insane on this build. For consumables and food, I would of course always go for Peppercorn Crusted Sweepstakes. It's just the best option, gives you power, ferocity and minus incoming damage. This is just a very good option in World vs. World, just decrease the damage to take even further. And then you have superior sharpening stones for the utility consumable just to get some more power. Before I go to the traits, I want to mention if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. But now, let's go to the traits. So for the traits, it's actually quite interesting. You run Chaos, Illusions and Chronomancer. Chaos is like, this one is really just giving you a lot of boons. So passive regen, this is quite nice, passive boons. And whenever you have regen, you actually get more concentration and expertise. The expertise, yeah, not that bad, but the concentration is really nice. Then when you use your F2 skill, you actually get a lot of protection. Then whenever you get CC'd every 35 seconds, you actually remove or cleanse 2 conditions that will be converted to damaging one into boons. That's quite nice. It's a rather long cooldown, but you can also trigger that on your own. So if you use your F4, you get actually the same. And you can use that in Continuum Split and you get actually multiple cleanses there, so to say. But that's just the best option. The other 2 are not worthwhile on this build. And then lastly, of course, Bountiful Disillusionment. Whenever you shatter, you get a short amount of stability. Doesn't seem like much, but can be insane if you know that there will be a CC incoming. You can press your shatter and you actually negate it. And then you have crazy amounts of boons. That's the important part about Vigor, Fury, Stability, Might. It's really good. Even Resistance is really, really strong here. In Chronomancer, you get just some nice passive alacrity when you shatter, and you get more movement speed. That's actually quite nice as well. That's why you don't need a movement speed rune. And then for the first traits, you can actually go for all of them. You can go for healing on the wells. If you have multiple wells, that's worthwhile. You can go for 5% more damage increase on your shatters and the movement speed increase on them. That's actually, I would say, the most aggressive variant. And then you can actually go for disabling a flow. Slows them. That's actually quite interesting because you have decent amount of CC and slow is really, really annoying to deal with for the enemy. So I take either one of those. I think this one is a little bit too sustainy. I personally would go for the most aggressive option in most situations, but in some situations when you are really, really annoying the enemy with all your CC, then this is actually also worthwhile. It depends a bit how you like to play it. I tested all 3 and it works decently. Then we have Alacrity, improved by this trait. It's insane, just more value from Alacrity and you get more crit chance. After a patch will be crit chance and here it will be crit damage, so it's okay in either way. And lastly, this is very important, Chrono Phantasma, your Phantasms spawn after you killed them once. So when they did their first attack, they respawn and they will do less damage, but they still get all the value from it. This is really strong because you actually take a lot of Phantasms and all of them have really good value, not only from the damage, but also from the passive damage and utility. So this is really strong. Why is that so strong? Because we take illusions. Illusions just, yeah, not that good. You get more damage on your clone generation, that's quite nice. And then shatter skills gain recharge reduction, that's also really good. And then you take, when a Phantasm becomes a clone, it transfers its boons to you. Because you get actually a lot of quickness from that, because you take this trait. So if Phantasm has quickness, you get quickness, and when it dies, it actually gives you the boons, so you get some quickness there as well. And they give you more damage, and they stack with might. So the might they get will also be transferred to you. And don't forget, you can also buff up your Phantasms if no one else is around with your own boons. So this will also be copied back to you. It's really, really strong. So why is this trait this is the key why you can use Nurus Relic, because this trait actually procs Nurus as well. For whatever reason, when a Phantasm dies and it transfers its boons to you, this counts as removing the boon from the Phantasm. So you actually get the Nurus proc, and this is why the Nurus Relic is so strong in this, because we do this consistently, and with this trait in conjunction you actually do it very, very consistently, because you respawn your Phantasms after they died once, so they proc this trait twice. And that's why Spear is so good. Let's talk about the weapons very shortly, because Spear gives you 2 Phantasms after you use your 2 skills. So the combo would always be 2 into 4. If you can land the CC first, so 2 into 5 to get the CC, and then use the 2 again into 4 to actually get the 2 Phantasms into it, which gives you all the boons and also to immobilize. So that's really strong. And don't forget, they will respawn afterwards, so they proc it twice. This is of course a nice contact lens. I would not empower that. And your second weapon set, I would say the combo is more like use your 3 skill and use it again to maybe use it into the CC and then weapon swap into your offensive weapon. But of course you can also use it to just for passive sustain with the blur, or just get a lot of protection and a lot of just annoying slow on the enemy while you also block. So I think you can also go for Torch offhand, or you can even go for Scepter main hand if you wanted to get a crazy damage on the 3 skill and a block. I think there are a lot of valid options here. Just use this as your defensive weapon set, and this is the combo weapon set. When it comes to other utility skills, I would always go for Well of Eternity for the really nice healing, or for Signet of Ether. Those two are really, really good. The Signet of Ether is a little bit more aggressive because it resets your Phantasms, but I would say this is for the Contact Lens quite well. Then Blink, always very important for Stun Break and Teleport. Then Phantasmal Disenchanter, because it respawns, it's a Phantasm and gives all the boons, and it does amazing damage and is also boon removal. And then Mirror Images is just my choice here, because it's like a crazy good Stun Break and creates 2 clones, so you can use that very aggressively with your F1 Shadow, for example, or even defensively with your Distortion. But of course you can swap whatever you like, there are multiple options here. It's not really clear what is the best option. I just like this setup very much. And then you have Gravity Well. Gravity Well, I think it's absolutely insane, because you can use that with your F5, and if you power build, you can actually burst them while they are stunned here, or CC'd. And this is really, really strong to combo with the F5, for example, into double Gravity Well, so that they actually like 6 seconds, if they don't have a stun break, completely CC'd. That will be complete overkill for most situations, but you can lock them down. And don't forget, you have perma quickness on this build, so just auto-attacking with the sword or the spear while they are CC'd in the Gravity Well actually does a lot of damage, because you have so fast attacks. And don't forget as well that you can use your shatters not only to the damage, but also gives you some nice boons. So if you're in the F5 and have shatters up, always use all the shatters to get the boons, because they will remain after you come back out of the F5. Typically, I would say the F5 will be used in some kind of aggressive way, or if you're really struggling to survive, you can actually also use it on the healing well. That's the really cool part about this well, or in wells in general, because you can cast it. And when you cast it at the end, go into the Gravity Well, then you actually get in the Continuum Shift, you actually get the well proc at the end in your normal form, and will get back to max health and have still the healing well on cooldown. Now let's talk about the really important part about this build, why you have to actually understand that the Nurus Relic is actually a little bit gimmicky. Because the transformation that you will get actually bigger when you get the Nurus Hunger proc. This will negate you spawning Phantasms and clones, so this is not a good thing, and that means that you should be transformed beforehand, because for whatever reason, if you're already transformed with some kind of tonic, the transformation of the Nurus does not proc, but you get the value of the Nurus Hunger still, so you get the damage to healing conversion, the damage increase, damage reduction, everything works, just not the big growing bigger, which would be the thing that prevents you from spawning Phantasms. So in general, always use some kind of combat tonic. I use the Watch Knight tonic, but it doesn't matter, you can use anything. And then it will not be able to proc the Nurus transformation and you will still be able to spawn your phantasms. It's really important to make this build work. If you can't do that consistently because you mount all the time or you forget it all the time, then swap to a different relic. It's really like this important. So keep that in mind. Yeah, and that's the build. I hope you enjoy it. It's really fun to play. I would say it's extremely strong, really, really underrated. Just has a lot of value and has a lot of cool combo potential. And just running around with all the boons permanently is broken and is very fun, you know. So be sure to give it a try. I hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks a lot for watching. As always, thanks to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch, and Patreon. I hope to see you in the next video.